the top 5 pros and cons are of moving to Augusta, Georgia? Well, I'm Gerilyn Laurentys. I've been in the Augusta area for over 20 years, and I'm going to give you the top 5 pros and cons. If you've seen my other pros and cons list, this one's a little bit different, so stay tuned. You won't want to miss the very last one. It's a little bit crazy. So we're going to get into it right now. Pro number 1 is we are less than 3 hours from a beach and less than 3 hours from the mountains. So it's a great location. If you love beaches and you love mountains, you can get to it fairly quickly. You can do a quick weekend trip. You don't have to plan a whole week to go, but you can if you want. Hilton Head Island in South Carolina, that's just maybe 2.5 hours from here. Now, if you want like really pretty sand and really pretty water, you're gonna drive further because you're gonna need to go to Florida. Destin, Florida, I think is about 4, maybe 4.5 hours from here, so still not too bad. And then mountains, you can get to Helen, Georgia in the mountains where they have Oktoberfest in October. They've got the little Germantown, super cool. And then of course you can go up to North Carolina. You can go up in northern South Carolina to get to some mountains. And again, less than 3 hours, so that's pretty awesome. And then you can get to the lake. There's Lake Oconee, which is about an hour away, but then we also have Clarks Hill Lake or Lake Thurman Lake. I don't remember what it's called now because they changed the name. So anyway, ignore me. You can look it up. But it's actually in Appling, which is in our Augusta area. We're within 30 minutes you can get to it. And so there are houses out there, but there's also some public access places. They have some little beaches on the lake that you can enjoy. They have camping out on the lake that you can enjoy. If you're military and at Fort Gordon, they have a special area at the lake just for you guys that you can rent cabins. So pretty cool to have the lake that close by. Con number 1 about our lake here in Augusta is that it's owned by the Corps of Engineers, and so they determine the level of the water a lot of times. And people who have lakefront property, if they don't already have a dock, they're usually not allowed to build a dock, so that really stinks. If they're going to do any kind of modification, they usually have to get it approved through the Corps of Engineers, so that can kind of be a pain. And I realize that if you're not a lake person, then that doesn't really affect you at all, and that's totally fine. But it can be a bummer for those who do live on the lake or who have second homes out on the lake, or if you're just going to visit the lake and the lake is down, that's also kind of a bummer. But they have some little areas where you can swim, so that's kind of cool. Pro number 2 is the weather here. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking. You're like, Georgia in the middle of summer is hot, humid, and ridiculous. But honestly, most of us stay inside, so the summers are fine. It's not that big a deal. Like, yeah, it gets super hot, and yes, it's humid, and we have rain during the summer, which kind of makes it miserable because it's super thick in the air. But the rest of the year is kind of really nice. Today, it's sunny and beautiful, and it's November, and it's 69 degrees outside. Now, that's not the typical November, but October and November this year have been really, really pleasant. We've had a couple of little coldish snaps where it's gotten down in the 40s and 50s, but really it doesn't get super, super cold here. And that, for me personally, is really nice. I lived in Maryland for 4 years, and when I lived up there, we had a terrible snowstorm, and the winter was really not fun. I mean, I really enjoyed playing the snow until I got inside and I was soaked to the bone, wet from all the snow melting, and I was freezing cold, and it just took me forever to warm up. So if you love snow and you hate hot and humid, maybe this isn't the place for you. But if you really enjoy spring and fall that is warmer than a regular spring and fall, but still pleasant to be outside, and you like a milder winter, this is a great place for you to come. Con number 2 is road construction. We have a ton of road construction going on right now, basically in all of the areas around Augusta. In Martinez, we have on Flowing Wells Road, they're doing a bunch of construction. They're supposed to be done in, I think, the spring of 2024. So hopefully that's true, but I feel like it's been going on for about 4 years now. They were supposed to widen the roads, at least at the beginning of the project, that's what they told us, but they actually just added a middle lane, and then it's still a 2-lane road. So that's a little bit frustrating. Then over in Evans off of Fury's Ferry Road, they're starting a road widening project over there, which it sorely needs because the traffic can get really cluttered and congested in that area at, work flow, like in the morning and in the evening. In Harlem, they're trying to finish up where they've inserted a roundabout, and they've done some changes with getting off the I-20 exit. So once that's done, it'll be amazing. That'll really help the flow of traffic there. We also have a lot of road construction in Grovetown, and it is honestly really a hot mess off of the Grovetown exit of I-20. And I am not sure when they're going to be done with that. That also has been going on for a really long time. So the traffic there is very congested in the evenings, really honestly in the afternoon, like starting at, I've seen it as early as 2:30 during the week in the afternoon. The exit for the Grovetown exit off I-20, people will start lining up on the shoulder of the road at I-20, which is just really dangerous. It's really crazy. And then, so once they get that road construction finished, it'll be way better. But we have that Grovetown has just really exploded in the last few years, and the infrastructure has just not caught up to all of the growth that they've allowed in Grovetown. So hopefully over the next few years that'll ease and we won't have such a congested area right there, because there's a lot of shopping off that exit, a lot of restaurants off that exit, and a ton of people living in Grovetown right now. So that would be a con. Pro number 3 is that we are only about 2 hours from 2 different international airports, the international airport in Atlanta and also the one in Charlotte, North Carolina. We also have a regional airport here locally in Augusta that has several nonstop direct flights to several major cities. We have a nonstop flight to New York. That may change, of course, depending on when you're watching this video. We also have a nonstop flight out to Dallas, Texas. And I'm not sure about the other ones. We have several of them though. So of course, I'm sure that they're not gonna stay the same, and you can always look that up on Google if you want to find out currently what the nonstop direct flights are out of Augusta to major cities. But it also is really nice to be able to fly out of Augusta if you're going on an international trip. Usually it goes through Atlanta or through Charlotte, but getting through security and all of that in the Augusta airport is much easier and much quicker than going to Atlanta and going through security and TSA and all of that to get on your international flight. You absolutely have to be there at minimum 3 hours ahead to fly out of Atlanta internationally. But honestly, like, I've known some people that it's taken longer depending on what time of day the flight is. So I would even recommend getting there even earlier, or get there the day, spend the night at an airport, at a hotel that's at the airport in Atlanta the night before. That way you can get up and get in there early and know that you're not going to miss your flights. So that actually leads into con number 3, which is a lot of times the flights out of Augusta can be delayed, or the flights coming back into Augusta have gotten canceled. They'll delay. This actually just happened to me a couple of months ago. We had done a round trip flight out of Augusta, and we had been flying internationally, and when we came back in, we got back into Atlanta. Our flight was supposed to leave for Augusta. I think it was at 3 o'clock. When we landed, we had a notification that Augusta flight had been delayed an hour, then it got delayed another hour, and by the time we finished eating lunch, it had been delayed 3 hours. And so we were concerned that they may cancel the flight, or we may not be able to get a flight back to Augusta until about 10 or 11 o'clock, which is very nerve-wracking when your kids are not with you and you have got to get back. So we ended up renting a car with our friends and not taking the flight out back to Augusta, and just driving the 2 hours back to Augusta from Atlanta. you know, when the flights are on time and you can fly back into Augusta at the time that you originally thought you were going to fly back in, it's very convenient to be able to just hop in your car and have, you know, a quick drive home instead of a 2-hour drive home after traveling. So just keep that in mind as one of the cons of, even though we have an airport here, a lot of times the flights can be delayed or canceled, and that really sucks, especially when you're traveling home. Well, I don't know, it would suck either way, because if you missed your flight to go on a trip that you had planned and you're going overseas, that would really suck if you had to rebook all of that stuff. So anyway, just a warning. Pro number 4 is the cost of living. Here in Georgia, it is actually fairly cost effective to live down here compared to several other areas in the United States. And I actually have a whole nother video on the cost of living in Augusta, Georgia. So if you haven't seen that video, you should go over there and check that out. I give more specifics on like monthly bills and what they cost and what our housing costs are. Of course, over the years, that is going to change, but I give you an idea for the year 2023/2024, what kind of cost you're going to have living here. Groceries, gas, utilities, housing, and you know, I'm sure that there are other parts in the United States that are less expensive, but we are definitely not in the top for being expensive for living. You can get really sizable home for a regular price point. I know that means different things to different people, but you can find a home between 200 and 400,000 depending on the location and how far out in the country you are, how close to town you are, all of that good stuff. But if you want to know more specifics for currently what it is, reach out to me. You can text me or give me a call, and I'd be glad to give you the most up-to-date information for cost of living in Augusta, Georgia. I love hearing from you guys, so don't ever feel like it's an imposition to text me or call me. I actually love it. Me and my team, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you guys figure out where in Augusta would be the best place for you to live. And if you are liking this content, please hit the like button. And if you want to get more of this content, please subscribe to my channel, and then you'll get more content. And anyway, let's get into the con number 4. Con number 4 in Augusta, for moving to Augusta, is politics. And you know, there are politics everywhere, so this isn't unusual, but in Augusta, it's been especially frustrating because they've really hindered the progress that we could have had over the last 10, 15, 20 years because they just argue among themselves and they don't want to, you know, do what's best for the overall community. I feel like in the last couple of years, it's gotten a little bit better. They've really kind of helped things move along. We've gotten some new things, but compared to a few other nearby areas like North Augusta, South Carolina, they have done an amazing job with their riverfront and their downtown area. Our downtown area could have been the same. It could have been amazing. They could have had restaurants along the river, but we don't have that yet. So we do have restaurants downtown. We do have local shops that are moving in downtown, and it is a neat area to visit. It's just been very slow going because of the politics, and because of the politics, we lost our baseball stadium, and they're over in North Augusta now at SRP Federal Park, and it's a really cool stadium over there, but again, it's not here in Augusta where it used to be, so that's kind of a bummer. And also Columbia County has its own politics. Now they are trying to grow their own little downtown area in Evans, Georgia, and I have some videos on Evans if you want to check those out. Good old boy system, definitely working down here in the South, but hopefully we can work on overcoming that soon. And, you know, the only way to make a change is to get involved. So I guess I'm really talking to myself right there, but I just really don't like politics. So here I am just complaining about it and not doing something about it. Maybe one day I'll have some time and I will make some time to get more involved in that portion of it. But for now, you're just going to get to see some videos, and maybe I'm going to complain a little bit. So sorry about that. If it bothers you, just skip through it. Pro number 5 is outdoor adventures. Now, we don't have outdoor adventures like you do out, somewhere like Colorado, but we do have some outdoor adventures here. We have camping out at Clarks Hill Lake, which is awesome, and we have some light hiking here. We also have lots of parks and playgrounds all throughout the Augusta area and surrounding areas. We have some of those parks include dog parks, so if you have animals and you want to take your dogs to the dog park for fun play date, you can do that. We have a bunch of outdoor markets that happen on the weekends when it's really nice outside, and we also have festivals throughout the year. So we have food festivals, we have music festivals, and beer festivals, and what else do we have? I don't know. Several other things that are fun to do outdoors, especially when it's nice. Rec Tech, they make grills, but they have a huge warehouse here and a huge outdoor space. And in the nice months here, they'll do outdoor movie on the screen where you can drive over. It's free. They have food trucks. They have all kinds of stuff to do. They have a little park over there for kids to play in. So that's a neat thing to do that's different, that is outdoors, and you can enjoy it. Con number 5 is palmetto bugs, mosquitoes, scorpions, snakes, and alligators. This is Trixie. Her full name is Bellatrix, but we call her Trixie. She's a puppy. She's a mess. She'll be a year old in about a month. She's super sweet and a mess, but she likes to run and interrupt me while I'm doing my videos, and that's totally cool. So, palmetto bugs, aka cockroaches, that is like my deathly nightmare. And I'm sure if you've seen some of my other videos, when I talk about cockroaches, you'll know how much I hate them. I will take a spider and a snake over a cockroach any day. Scorpions, so this one is a new one to me. I've been here for 20 years and I've never seen a scorpion. Until a few years back, I was showing a vacant house all the way out in Lincolnton, which is like an hour away from the Augusta area, and it was dead. So it wasn't, it was gross, but it wasn't as big a deal. And I'm like, well, we're way out in the country, so I guess like whatever. Well, I sold a house last year to this sweet, sweet couple who just moved here, and their son got bitten by a scorpion inside their house. And by bitten, I mean stung. I do realize that scorpions don't bite, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, totally freaked me out. And I'm like, I've never seen a scorpion. And she was like, I can't believe there are scorpions in Georgia. And I was like, they live in like a neighborhood with an HOA. So it was very crazy to me. That was in Grovetown, and I lived in Grovetown, and I lived in Grovetown for like 13 years and I never saw a scorpion. So totally freaked me out. And then the following week, she saw another scorpion alive in her house. And so I sent her my pest control people, and I was like, please get these people out here and make them spray whatever they need to spray to get rid of the scorpions in your house, because that is super freaky. And she mentioned hopefully she doesn't have a nest of scorpions in her house. So scorpions apparently are something that we have to keep an eye out here for. And then what else did I say? Snakes. We do have snakes here. We have poisonous snakes such as copperheads and water moccasins and rattlesnakes. So when it's warming up in the spring and all summer, you just need to be aware of that. And mostly they're out in the country, but absolutely, like where they're developing land, it can move stuff around and bother the snakes, and they can come out. I have seen snakes at my house that I lived in Grovetown in an HOA. We had wilderness around us. We had a pond behind us. My kids were little when they were growing up. I just talked to them about being aware of what they were doing. I wouldn't let them go out barefoot, although sometimes I would catch them barefoot outside, which is crazy. But anyway, we had a dead copperhead in the middle of the road on our street. So absolutely it happens. But we also have really good snakes that eat the bad snakes. So I know if you're not a snake person, it probably doesn't matter if they're good or bad, but I'm just letting you know that I'm all for good snakes. Like, I want them near me. I want them to eat any mice or whatever, just not my doggies. And then what else did I say? Ooh, alligators. Yes, we do have alligators here. Not like Florida, where they're all over the place everywhere. But definitely in the Savannah River, there are alligators. I've seen them on the Augusta Canal. So you just, there are people that kayak on there, and that's cool, but you'll never catch me kayaking over there, because I would be the one to flip over and an alligator would snatch me and then I'd be dead. So whatever. So those are some cons of moving to this area. Oh, and mosquitoes. I didn't talk about mosquitoes. We do have mosquitoes. They're really, really annoying. A lot of people have screened in porches so they can actually enjoy the outside without getting attacked by mosquitoes. My husband, when he goes camping, he was like, they'll buzz in my ear. It's really annoying when he goes deer hunting and he's trying to be still and quiet and they're like, so there are companies that'll spray for them. We've never had that done, but I guess you can if you want. Just try not to leave stuff in your yard that, you know, like empty containers where water can sit and stagnate, and then it's like a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So just to help minimize it, don't do that. And I think that's all that I need to talk about. So there you go. There's a fifth con of moving to Augusta. Well, as you can see, there are several pros and cons to moving to Augusta. And if you are considering moving to Augusta, we would love to have you reach out to us. You can shoot us a text, email us, or give us a call. We love hearing from you guys, so don't ever feel like it's an imposition to do that. Even if you're months out and you're not going to be moving here, you know, tomorrow, that's totally fine. We can still talk to you and give you more information about our area and kind of ask you questions about what your likes are, what your dislikes are, and that will help us put you in the best area for your lifestyle and what kind of things you like to do. If you love being in the country, you don't want any neighbors, then we'll know where to suggest for you to go. If that sounds like your nightmare where you have to plan your grocery trips, then we can get you into the city where you can have a grocery store very close by. So if you want an HOA, if you don't want an HOA, if you want a swimming pool in the neighborhood that's for the community, that's fine. We don't have a ton of public pools here. We have a couple, but a lot of the neighborhoods will offer memberships outside of that. So if that's something you're looking for, we can figure all of that out for you as well. Don't forget to text us, email us, call us, and just remember, we've got your back when moving to Augusta, Georgia.